Join me in this riveting episode as we plunge into the heart-wrenching saga of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Picture this: a vibrant 18-year-old named Savannah Nicole Soto navigating the sun-drenched streets of San Antonio, Texas, a city known for its warmth and captivating landmarks, like the iconic Riverwalk and Six Flags Fiesta. Little did they suspect that this metropolis would transform into the haunting backdrop where the lives of a young couple were abruptly and tragically snuffed out. Gear up for a wild ride through the dramatic lives of Savannah Soto and her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Matthew Guerra. Sparks flew when they first met, but their love story was far from perfect. A roller coaster of breakups and makeups ensued. Family tensions escalated, fueled by dark revelations of Matthew's alleged violence, creating a rift among relatives. Savannah's confessions of abuse stirred up emotions, and that was just the beginning. Matthew's life took a darker turn into the shady world of substance dealings, using social media to connect with buyers across San Antonio. Although most believed the relationship wasn't going to work out between the two, it seems both Savannah and Matthew were trying to make it work, at least for the sake of their baby boy who would be set to arrive any day now. In fact, Savannah was due to be induced on December 23rd because she'd gone past her due date. Savannah was reported missing on December 22nd because her family hadn't heard from her. The very next day, on December 23rd, Savannah failed to show up for her induction, which instantly raised red flags. Families on both sides realized they hadn't heard from either Savannah nor Matthew over the past few days. Despite reporting the couple missing, sending them texts, and calling them on the phone, family and friends could not get in touch with Savannah or Matthew, so they began to spread the word on the internet, using social media as an outlet to broaden their reach and let the world know these two were missing. Savannah's family instantly had a bad feeling about her being missing because they knew she was excited to give birth to her baby boy, and they knew she wouldn't miss that induction date without a good reason. It would take 3 more days before either family would have any information on the whereabouts of their loved ones. On December 26th, the day after Christmas, investigators acted on a tip that Guerra's vehicle was parked in an apartment complex parking lot. Upon arriving at the scene, police officers discovered both Savannah and Matthew in the car, deceased with gunshot wounds to their heads. At this point, the families on both sides are freaking out, and some are even pointing the finger at one another. But the investigators wanted to focus less on the drama between families and solely on figuring out who would want to end the lives of Matthew, Savannah, and their unborn child, who was full term. Investigators were determined to find out who would take the life of this young man, along with his pregnant girlfriend. As the investigation unfolded, authorities began looking into cell phone and vehicle records to gather more details on who the couple had been with last. At this point, authorities would determine that Matthew Guerra conducted a search for a home on Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive, with vehicle records showing that he'd been to both locations. Records would also show that the vehicle moved to 5903 Danny K. Drive in an apartment complex parking lot just a few minutes later. When reviewing surveillance footage from the apartment complex, investigators stumbled upon a man who would later be identified as Ramon Preciado in a Chevy Silverado. Ramon pulled into the parking lot with the lights to his vehicle off, exchanged a few words with another individual, later identified as Christopher Preciado, and then got back into the vehicle before taking off. The police continued to use cell phone tracking information to collect information before confronting Ramon Preciado, who quickly admitted to his involvement in the case. According to Christopher Preciado's father, Ramon, Matthew met up with his son at his home to purchase substances from him on December 21st. However, the father claims that a fight ensued, and his son had no choice but to do what he did to protect himself. Ramon and Christopher, a 19-year-old recent high school graduate, were arrested and taken into custody. Christopher claimed Matthew and Savannah came to the house to sell substances, but Matthew pointed a firearm directly at him. Despite these claims, his story was inconsistent with the wounds to both Savannah and Matthew. Christopher says he had to wrestle the gun away from the victims to protect himself and simply shot at them because he needed to protect himself. In the meantime, Ramon didn't deny showing up at the apartment complex parking lot to meet with his son, Christopher, on December 21st. He even said it was Christopher who was driving the vehicle that belonged to Matthew. After interrogating both Christopher and Ramon, investigators would charge Christopher Preciado with capital murder for the shooting deaths of Savannah Soto, her unborn son, and Matthew Guerra. His father, Ramon, has been charged with abuse of a corpse and destroying evidence. Because this case is still new, there is still a lot to learn about why Christopher, a seemingly normal 19-year-old boy, would choose to end the lives of Matthew and Savannah, while also taking the life of an innocent unborn baby in the process. Because Matthew Guerra was allegedly involved in criminal activity that involved selling substances, some believe he lost his life for it, along with his girlfriend and unborn child. However, others are still puzzled over a real motive and would like to know what went down in that vehicle on that fateful December night. So, what do you think was Christopher's motive? Or do you believe that he truly shot both in self-defense? Sound off in the comments below, and we'll be sure to update you with further details on this case as it unfolds.
At noon, a break in a capital murder case. Police say two men are charged in connection to the deaths of a pregnant woman and her boyfriend. On December 26, Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra were found dead with gunshot wounds inside a car at an apartment complex. Last night, 19-year-old Christopher Preciado was booked for capital murder. The suspect's father was also arrested for abuse of a corpse in the deaths. New documents reveal how police linked the pair to this case. KENS 5's Sarah Duran has the latest.
A new affidavit details the arrest of 19-year-old Christopher Preciado. His father, 53-year-old Ramon Preciado, is also named and charged in the documents. Police allege he helped his son hide the bodies of Savannah Soto and her boyfriend Matthew Guerra after their deaths on December 21st. The affidavit says that's when the couple drove to the suspect's house to exchange drugs for money. At some point, Christopher fatally shot at Savannah and Matthew, then called his dad Ramon for help. Documents say the pair drove Matthew's car to an apartment complex where they hid the vehicle. When police discovered the car 5 days later, they didn't find a gun, but they did find Savannah's cell phone inside. That helped detectives track the suspect's location, leading them to their house. Yesterday, police said they interrogated the pair, which led to a warrant being issued for their arrest. Now in jail, investigators say more charges could